Hello, grade 8s. This is the last type of equations that you will learn in grade 8. It is called solving two-step equations, type 3. So this is what they look like, just before we do this question. It looks like there's a number, then inside there's brackets, and inside the brackets there's an x, always an x inside the brackets, and is usually accompanied by a positive or a negative number, and it equals either a positive or a negative number, right? So here's another example, right? So this is what the type 3 look like. So you have to know what they actually mean. So we're going to model these equations using tiles. So this means 3 groups of x plus 2, right? So 3 groups of x plus 2. So 3 of whatever's inside here. Now, if you forget what the tiles look like, so we have the positive x's, which are looking like that. The negative x's, which look like that. So they're not colored in. It's a bar that's not colored in versus a bar that's colored in. Then we have the positive ones and the negative ones. So they're just little squares. Sometimes I'll get lazy and it's just easier to draw them as circles, but they're like little round circles that are colored in as a positive one, and an empty circle is a negative one. Okay, so I'm going to use circles instead of the little squares, but that's what they look like. So I'm going to draw 3 groups of x plus 2. So we're going to have an x, and there's one x, and there's a positive 2. Right? Shaded in circles. I want 3 groups, so that's one group. Here's another group. And here's another group. And all of that is equal to negative 3. So negative 3 is 3 hollow circles. All right? So that's basically what this question looks like. Now, if we put it all together, these 3 groups of x plus 2, we can actually simplify it into 3x. All of this is positive 6 is equal to, can't really simplify that, that doesn't change, right? So there's what we've got, a brand new equation, okay? Let's model the next one. 2 groups of x minus 4 equals to 2. So one group of x minus 4, so x is positive. 1, 2, 3, negative 4. Another group of x, because we have 2 groups of x minus 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That equals to 2 positives. Right? Now, when we simplify and put it all together, we've got 2 x's really, plus all of this, which is negative 8, equals to 2. Okay? Now, what we want to do is, we don't want to go and draw pictures all the time. We want to be able to go right from the original type 3 question right to this equation, which is really a type 1 equation. If you go back to type 1, that's type 1. So how do we get from here directly, pardon me, that should be over here. So how do we get from here directly to here? And how do we get from here directly to here? Okay, so what's the shortcut to go from here to here? Well, if you notice, all you have to do is, if this is a 3, that means times 3. So you're going to take x and you're going to times by 3, and you're going to take this number, which is a positive 2, and you're also going to times it by 3. So the 3 multiplies the x, and then the 3 multiplies this positive 2. So it's multiplication of this number multiplying both parts inside this bracket. And so this one, same thing. 2 will multiply x, and 2 will multiply negative 4. So we get negative 8. Okay? So if we do this question here down, these 2 questions down here, simplifying without drawing a picture, so 4 multiplies x, remember this is times, and 4 multiplies negative 1, and this number won't change, we get 4x negative 4, or minus 4, equals negative 8. Okay? Simple. These are type 1 equations. We know how to solve this already. This one down here, we go 2 times x, again this is times, and 2 times this, which is a negative 3. So we get 2x negative 6 equals negative 6. It's that simple. Okay, so this little trick you learned, this is called it's called the distributive property. So when you multiply this number by this and then this number by that, it's called using the distributive property. So if a question says use the distributive property, it means use the shortcut. Don't draw pictures. All right. So let's do some together. I'm going to do 3 together. So here's using the distributive property to solve. Here's the first one. 5 times x, 5 times a positive 5 is 5x positive 25 is equal to negative 45. Right? Now, here's the equal sign. You learned that x wants to be by itself. I've got to get rid of the positive 25, so we minus 25. Whatever you do to one side, you do to the other. These cancel out. We're left with 5x equals to this negative 45 add negative 25 is negative 70. We got to get x by itself, so we do the opposite of times 5. Remember, we divide 5 here. Whatever we do to one side, we do to the other. So we cancel these out because 5 divided 5 is 1. This is x equal to this answer, which is negative 14, and there is our x. And that's how you solve really quickly, type 3. Here's the next one. So we have negative 12 is equal to negative 6x minus 3. So here we have the equal sign, right? So the x is on the right side. So we first have to multiply negative 6 times x, then negative 6 times negative 3. So we get negative 6x. Careful here. Negative 6 times negative 3. That's a positive 18. And that equals to this answer, which won't change on the left side, negative 12. Now, negative 6x wants to be by itself, so we have to put negative 18 here and then negative 18 there. That cancels that out. We're left with these two added together are equal to negative 30 is equal to negative 6x. Now here we want to get x by itself. We have to divide by negative 6. Remember, that's not positive 6. And then divide that by negative 6. Cancel that out. And we are left with, I'll just write it over here. We're left with 5 equals x. And if you prefer to write x equals 5, that's fine. Over here, last question, negative 8 times x, negative 8 times positive 2, we get negative 8x. This is negative 8 times positive 2, negative 16, equal to negative 8. We want to get x by itself, so we add 16 both sides, cross that out, negative 8x equals 2. That would be positive 8. Divide both sides by negative 8, divide by negative 8, cancel that out, x equals negative 1. And there it is. I hope you enjoyed that quick lesson. Good luck.